Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. See the help me sign? Remember that. That's how you do it. Make like a 4, and close your hands over it. That means somebody needs help. Don't forget that. I want to make sure I don't have to worry about this disclaimer for mature. The graphic details and the accusation of this party are presumed innocent until proven guilty. They all said that they're guilty. So I don't have to worry about that one at the moment. Okay. Yes. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Hello there, Arctic. If Arctic, if somebody can put up y'all got a website here at YouTube, share it out. Also, Arctic has a link that we all need to sign. Hello, ParQ. Good to see you. Thank you. If everyone's doing good today, yeah, I'll make sure to let them up on the screen in a few minutes. So let me share my screen. Thank you, Artie. Here's where the Newton man gets 4 life sentences for child sex crimes. This was updated 2 hours ago. See, the first picture is Christopher Mcahren. He's the one that got 3 life sentences, and he could get possibility of parole when he is 100 years old. This is a co-defendant, Veronica, and another co-defendant, Cameron. In Newton, Kansas, a 32-year-old Newton man has been sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms for sex crimes involving a young child. The Harvey County Attorney's Office said Christopher Mcahren would not be eligible for parole for 100 years. He pled guilty in April to aggravated criminal sodomy, aggravated indecent liberties with a child, rape of a child under the age of 14, and aggravated internet trading in child pornography. The crimes happened between February and December of 2024, and involved a child under the age of 8. Harvey County Attorney Heather Bigger asked the judge to impose the maximum sentence. Mcahren stole the victim's innocence, documented his offenses through images, involved others, and shared those images. Bigger told the court when his crimes were uncovered, he fled the state. Judge Michael Lamas agreed. Bigger said 2 co-defendants awaiting sentences, Veronica Darby, pled guilty to 2 counts of aggravated criminal sodomy and 1 count of aggravated indecent liberties with a child, and she'll be sentenced on September 22nd. Cameron Durham was in possession of images tied to Mcahren and pled guilty on July the 7th to 1 count of sexual exploitation of a child. to be sentenced on September 11th. There's more to Mcahren, the other man's story as well. See if this is where a woman, is pled guilty to child sex crimes. Harvey County Attorney Heather Figger says Veronica Darby, 23 of Newton, entered a guilty plea Friday to 2 counts of aggravated criminal sodomy and 1 count of aggravated indecent liberties with a child. Court records show that Darby was in a relationship with Christopher Mcahren, who was sentenced yesterday to over 18 years in prison and lifetime registration as a sex offender. Van pleads guilty to desecrating Wichita Catholic Church. We'll go pass over that. The crimes occurred between February and December of 2024 and involved the victim under 10 years old. The minimum sentence, for each count is 25 years of life in prison. Well, what interests me when they say 3 life sentences, how much time is in each life sentence and when he could end up going for parole when he's 100? Sentencing for Darby is scheduled for September 22nd. Okay, there's a little bit more information on that guy. I think this is the one. We'll scroll through some of this, okay? This is to serve at least 100 years in prison for sexually abusing and creating pornographic material of a young child that he shared over the internet. Christopher M. Mcahren, 32 in Newton, was sentenced July the 25th by Harvey County District Judge Michael Lamas. There's got to be other victims out there. If y'all are a victim of him or if your kid was around these monsters, please get with the authorities and let them know. The young victim was younger than 8 years old at the time of the crimes, according to a Wednesday news release from Harvey County Attorney Heather Figger. So let's get on. When his crimes were uncovered, he fled the state. Okay. So I want to get down here to, wow. It said that Lamas handed down 4 consecutive life sentences, each with no parole eligibility for 25 years, and then ordered the life terms be served back to back. 100 years in a minimum amount is the minimum amount of time Mcahren is required to serve before he could be released from prison, unless his case is overturned on appeal. If ever released, Mcahren would be subject to lifetime parole supervision with electronic monitoring and sex offender registration, the news release said. Mcahren pled guilty on April 24th to 4 child sex crimes: aggravated criminal sodomy, aggravated indecent liberties with a child, rape of a child younger than 14, and aggravated internet trading in child pornography. Court records say he committed the crimes between February and December 2024. Prosecutors agreed to dismiss 2 other counts in exchange for his guilty plea. They were aggravated criminal sodomy and sexual exploitation of a child. 2 other, excuse me, let's get in here on this new little thing about him, right? About Cameron Durham. He also pled guilty to 1 count of violation of a protection order in a separate case, court records show. So he's got another case pending to Cameron Durham. So I wanted y'all to know this information. So let's stop the share and I'll let, if anybody wants to come up. Kansas makes life. He needs to never be released. You got that right. Let me put whoever wants to come up there on screen and talk. Let's do it. I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. Hey, Taylor, good to see you. Thanks for coming in, too. Anybody that feels like coming on up, let's come up and discuss it. There's the link. I just dropped it. So these people are bound to have other crimes as well. Hey, Arctic, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'll come up for a few. See, this is the type of case that really irritates the living crap out of me. Dropping two of the charges just so he'll make a guilty plea. They had plenty of evidence here. And this man should be put away for life, or he could have a needle put in his arm for all I care. Why should we have to pay to feed him for the rest of his damn life? But
Exactly.
you know, he needs to be permanently dealt with and taken off of the streets. It's just like a case that I'm working out of Tulsa. We had this sex offender move in from Texas. Very abusive relationship with the girl that's gone missing. So Oklahoma, he never registered as a sex offender in the state of Oklahoma. So Oklahoma County issues a warrant for his arrest. He's sitting in Oklahoma County Jail right now. Tulsa PD needs to go interrogate him. But you want to know what his sentence was? He got 180 days with time served after he failed
Hey,
to
what?
register. Yes, after he failed to register after moving to Oklahoma. And you want to know what his crime in Texas was? He
What?
assaulted a girl under the age of 10.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Hello, Taylor. Good to see you.
Hello, how are you, ma'am? Hello,
I am doing
Arctic.
good, thank you. If we get back to over there, I want to show y'all something because it looks like they're getting rid of this other guy's criminal record, and before they get rid of it, I want to share this guy with y'all too, and y'all might want to y'all can find him and say, um, okay, hold on. I hit the wrong thing. Let me share my screen and share it with y'all. So take his name down too, if y'all will, okay? And y'all get the word out because I am very angry about this guy in Alabama, right? This is Victor Adair Vanderslice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's had arrests all the way back to 2015, but that was drug trafficking and such and such. He's had a lot of different arrests, okay? But look what here. They're doing a record removal of him. Look. So he
Jeez.
basically had a total bond of $300,000. He's even sodomized a kid. He's got all these crimes. Look at all these sex offenses, y'all. Look, that's just with he had to pay 30,000 for each of the child porno. Where's that crime where he actually sodomized that child? I was told he even sodomized the child. So did they go ahead and let that part slip out too, and just not charge him with it?
It wouldn't surprise me. They do that all the time. They let these people slide. They make them take plea. They let them take plea deals, and that's why a lot of these people that have committed some of the most atrocious crimes get out after 5, 10 years. There's people doing more time for having a joint in their car than these sex offenders do.
And
Yes,
see,
sir.
and look at all these crimes right here of all these sex offense possession with intent to disseminate child pornography. Look at all that. 30,000 each right there, and he was able to pay a $300,000 bond. And look at it where it says record removal, y'all. Look, why are they doing that?
To clear him so that way people don't know what his offenses were, which is totally disgusting if you ask me.
Exactly. There's some major problems. Yeah, and I agree with Arctic on this when you said that why do they keep giving them plea deals and expunging some of their crimes against them when they already got enough evidence against the perpetrators, like they did this Mcahren guy, right?
Well, like in the Tulsa dude's case, I think I think he's a snitch. I think that's why he keeps getting off scot free because he's got a rap sheet longer than a porn star's you know what. So,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. If he's a sex offender, registered sex offender, how come they're wanting to expunge up his record? I mean, one guy put it out there on Facebook, and I clicked on it, and it would not let me go to it, so I had to take a screenshot real quick. So then I had to look it up on the computer because Facebook was already trying to get rid of it.
Damn.
So y'all make sure y'all get that name down, and you get that name, because this is not right. We still got to get the word out for the people. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And he's in Shelby County in Alabama. And if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be close to where my son is moving to. Oh, that's why they got cell phones and everything, where they have to say, well, they got to have a phone, instead of having a regular home phone. They go, so they get cell phones, and the cell phones they can get on the internet regardless, even if you're not supposed to have cell phones or internet access so that to victimize anyone, right?
It's absolutely ridiculous, is what it is. I mean, and they get treated better in jail than shoot. They get 3 meals a day. They got cable TV. They got air conditioning. They got free gym. Hell, not punishment
Exactly.
in a lot of respects. It's a 5-star resort.
I mean, look at the kids though that's getting victimized like this. Where's justice for them?
I know.
They're going
I
to be
know.
forever damaged. Like I got damage I can't never get rid of. It's not just mental. I mean, they told me that they worked on me over 8 hours just removing scar tissue from all the sexual abuse, and it was like none had been removed at all. Can y'all believe that crap? It was just I started bleeding too bad, so they had to stop.
Yeah,
So
it's a lifetime of trauma. It really is. I mean, and it's something that, forget the physical aspects of it, the mental aspects, there's no amount of counseling that's ever going to fix you after you go through something like that.
right.
You're right.
And what do you? It makes me wonder who this little boy was. Was it her kid, or where did they get access to this boy? Right, because the mother, that girl Veronica, and him were lovers. So it made me wonder whether or not that's her child through another marriage or something. I just don't really know who this child is, and it's good that we don't know who the child is for real. You know what I'm saying? But it makes you wonder where they have that much access to a child, right? Because she even sodomized. You see where he just basically got a slap on the wrist. Well, he ain't been sentenced yet, but he's going to get away with probably just bail that Cameron guy, Cameron Durham. Veronica, I hope she gets several life sentences also, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
And we've seen a lot more perpetrators that's even worse than this guy, right? And they get out in a couple years, or like you said, just some of their time served, and this is not right.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Duggar's a good example. I mean, FBI said that was the worst case of child CSAM that they ever saw on a computer.
Okay.
And then he got like 5 or 6 years is what he got. He'll be out soon. And it seems like he just went to jail.
Yeah. And you see these, sometimes there's up to 40 victims or even more than that. You know what I'm saying? And still, they're like 3 years possibly, and then they're like, well, they ain't got to serve no jail time. They'll just be on the registry for about 3 years. They're like, do what? After the 3 years, they already had so many victims, and he's not going to be on the registry that long. You're going to go ahead and expunge the fact that he
Yeah,
did all these
that that
victims. Like, what's wrong with
that's
this?
that's garbage. I mean, they need to be lifetime on the registry because once you do a crime like that, there is no you can't be reformed. I'm sorry. I mean, that's why a lot of these places, I mean, like Oklahoma, they are looking at seriously considering giving the death sentence to people the first time they commit a crime against a child. And I think that's how it should be. I mean,
And that's what my friend Charles Rogers is trying to get people to do, the coalitions in each of the states where they could do the death sentence for these sex crimes. But there's there's a fallback on that. I'm not saying because of uh, they need to put a different law, because the federal law is trying to say, well, that's inhumane to put a perpetrator to death. Is that really inhumane? Look what they did to the child, right?
Exactly. You know, they weren't care. They didn't give a shit about humanity while they were sexually assaulting that child. So I don't want to hear about, oh, it's inhumane. I don't care. I don't care. And it's just like the death sentence in general. If you're going to go out there and you're going to commit a crime like burn someone alive, I don't give a crap about how humane the way they put you to death is.
Exactly. These perpetrators, every once in a while, like I was talking to one of my friends, I was at a restaurant when it was still open in the town I live in, and that's when I was going to a certain church, so I went with a couple of the preacher associates and stuff, and so I sat there, and this couple just kept staring at me, and I thought, well, they're acting really strange, like they recognize me, and I like, they do look awfully familiar. So I had got up and had to go to the bathroom, and I walked past them. And then when I was coming back, they're like, "What? She's coming back. She's coming back through." And I heard them, you know. So yeah, they knew me. And so it's kind of scary when you sometimes run into some of these perpetrators who were part of the people who had hurt you, you know, as a kid. It's dangerous. Sometimes you can just walking in a grocery store or walking around at Walmart or anything like that. And it's been times when I've actually been grabbed and told I'm going with them, you know. So it's pretty scary. It's a lifetime thing, because some of these people just want to silence you.
Oh, I get it. I get it 100%.
I didn't see any. What did Nightbot do? I don't see nothing Nightbot. Did he get on to you again, Parky? Oh no, that's not right. Nightbot timed her out. Oh, he did time you out last time? That's right. He kept telling you, getting on to you about too many emojis. I said, I like emojis. Oh, well. So, yeah, timed her out from all them emojis. And I was like, but I like emojis. But y'all have any ideas on some ways that help? Because I really don't have any idea. I like the fact of what you're trying to present out there on what's the name of that change.
Yeah, I mean the Amber Alert petition. That's just something that I've been working on for 4 years now, honestly. And it's like there's a lot of the cases out there that I've covered where, well, two in particular, the child went missing and they were reported missing. It met the criteria for an Amber Alert to go out. No Amber Alert was ever issued, and the child ended up across the border into Mexico. But then we've also got the case from May with the Decker children that Travis Decker unalived, and those children, I really feel like they would still be alive had an Amber Alert been issued in their case. So there's and law enforcement's all like, well, we can't issue Amber Alerts for every single child. People get tired of seeing all the alerts. You know what? I will gladly see an alert all day long on my phone if it means that these children are brought home safe.
Oh yeah. So hold on a minute. Go ahead and keep talking while I try to go to my YouTube on my computer, because it's not letting me do it on my phone. So continue talking if you don't mind.
Yeah. Far's a great one to make a mod. She's an excellent mod. But yeah, I mean, these right now, I would say that in about 3% of missing children's cases, there's an Amber Alert issued. And in my opinion, that needs to be 100%. One of the big talking points by government is that, Well, runaways shouldn't get an Amber Alert, and they have their reasons for saying that because, oh, they'll come back when they're ready. They weren't abducted. They're not in danger. And I call bullshit on that. And the reason for that is that, statistically speaking, runaways are at a higher risk of being trafficked and selling themselves out on the street as a way to survive than a standard abduction victim is. Um, there's so many of these cases out there that Amber Alert, like a good example is Michael Monkey Vaughn and Summer Wells went missing around the same time. Summer Wells got an Amber Alert. Michael Monkey Vaughn did not. Had Michael been in the state of Tennessee, he would have received an Amber Alert. And that's part of the problem, too. The criteria for issuing an alert is different from state to state. It needs to be standardized across the board. And like I said, it just needs to be a deal where, hey, is the child under the age of 18? Are they missing? Yes, let's get the Amber Alert out there. Yeah, Chiron's a case that I think about all the time. I have very differing opinions than what most people do on that case, but
You're quite welcome. I didn't, so I tried to go on my computer like my phone, as I said, sometimes when I click on my phone and try to bring up videos, it won't let me. I think I've heard a little bit about the Chiron Harmon.
he's missing out from Skyline Elementary, Portland, Oregon. I forget how long exactly he's been missing, but it's a significant period of time. He had been at a science fair presenting a project. His stepmother, Terry, had been at the school with him. The last time he was seen was walking towards his classroom.
Oh, wow. Kind of weird if his last seen walking toward the classroom, what else could he have gone? There had to be somebody in the school, you know.
Well, the big speculation everyone wants to point toward is Terry. I personally don't feel that she's responsible, and I've got my reasons for that. Number one, there were sightings of Chiron after Terry left the school, and number two, Terry raised that child. Terry was the one that did everything with him. I don't feel like she would have had a reason to do anything to Chiron. So
She showed him
thank you,
love.
Chris.
If I remember right, that's what kind of makes me mad about a lot of things. I say, well, you know, that person's been doing such and such, and let's blame them. But if other people have seen her since she had been around, you know, there's something going on, something else going on. I've heard of some school teachers actually hiding in different places in the school, like it's a school affiliate that knows hiding places that normal other parents or other people don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? That they know
Well,
places where nobody's going to go in there and look through the day. They know places that's not going to be busy that first day or something. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
well, I mean, like in Chiron's case, what really blew my mind is there was a gas station that reported that there was a man that came in asking where the closest school was, not where a specific school was, where the closest school was. And this is like an hour before Chiron goes missing.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
So what time of the he was missing first thing in the morning?
It was probably around 11 o'clock, if I remember right.
Wow, that seems about time that someone start going towards lunch. You know.
Yeah, for there's like I said, I've done a lot of research into Chiron's case, and there's a lot of stuff out there that a lot of people haven't heard about because Desiree, the biological mother, from day one, she started a smear campaign against the stepmother. So that's where the whole focus has been. They've never looked at any other person in this case. Everything's been hyper focused on Terry, and I think that's wrong.
Right.
Stop
If,
it,
if
JJ.
anybody else wants to come up here, let's discuss this. Feel free. So I'm gonna drop down the link again. So hopefully Thank you, Artie. That changes things a lot in her mind, in her a bit in her head. Who is? I got to remember about Oakley Carlson. There's been so many missing kids and everything that my mind just goes and went missing at 8:45.
Thanks, Chris. I've got so many cases running around in my head that I can't remember specifics a lot of times.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. What do y'all think about that one that was Bosley, right? Can't remember her, but she's from Tennessee, right? And the mother did not. Didn't she get arrested?
I'm not even sure what case you're talking about, to be honest, right now.
I gotta remember that Bosley case. Let me try to look it up right quick. That's why they started a different kind of law where you're supposed to report your child missing if you know that it's been missing at least 24 hours. Report it. Don't go like a month or two, and say my grandchild's been missing for 2 months.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's happened in a lot of cases. Oh, trying to remember the girl's name. Madalena Kojikari. She's missing out of the Carolinas, and she was never reported missing until truancy officers came to her mother's house because she hadn't been in school. The mother tells the truancy officers, "Oh, yeah, I will meet with you," blah, 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 feeds them a line of crap about where the kid's been. She never meets with the truancy officers, really. And that one, I mean, she's still missing to this day. And apparently, there is a thought that she may have been taken across international borders. The mother ended up with a lot of money that is unaccounted for as to where she got that. She may have sold Madalena, is one of the trains of thought in that particular case. Yeah, it's just a step situation, and there's been several others where the child was just never reported missing. We had one, I'd say about 4 months ago, where the dad and the daughter get into a wreck. Um, they both die. The stepmother gets severely injured. Well, come to find out, there's a little boy that's unaccounted for in the wreck, and no one's seen this little boy for months. Well, they finally found his remains. He had been, they came out, there was some gruesome details in that case, but he had been unalived.
Yeah. I found out the name. Let me see what. Trying to click on your car key. So, did I hear Madalena's mom went back to her place of birth?
That's what I heard for her. I can't say for certain, but that's what I had heard.
Okay, the girl's name was actually Evelyn Boswell.
Oh, yeah, Megan Boswell. Yes.
Boswell, yeah. And so, yes, she was arrested. The mother, it says right here, Tennessee mother Megan Boswell found guilty of murdering her 1-year-old daughter Evelyn. And this was February the 13th, 2025. She was found, it's in the news right here. Tennessee
Yeah,
jury found a mother
I
guilty
watched.
of murdering her daughter, yeah.
Yeah, I watched that trial. Mm.
And she was discarded and put under trash or some things like that, right? Was it diapers
Yes,
and toys and all that
yes,
kind of stuff? She was
yep,
disposed of so horrifically, right?
yep.
They said Boswell was found guilty on all 19 charges she was facing: first degree murder, felony murder, aggravated child abuse, felony murder, aggravated child neglect, aggravated child abuse, aggravated child neglect, tampering with evidence, 11 counts of false reporting, abuse of a corpse, failure to report a death under suspicious, unusual, or unnatural circumstances. Well, she got a lot of charges against her. One thing that I won't never forget is also Joe, little Clyde Daniels.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like the parents are guilty. I feel like they went in there because both of them are mentally handicapped, both of the parents, and I really feel like they went in there just wanted somebody to hurry up and pay for, you know. He said that he did beat the boy in the bed when he's laying in bed, and just kept fisting, beating him. But there's no blood, not even on the blankets, not even on the walls, nowhere. They didn't find any blood. So I really believe that I knew that the mother was having an affair, and she was talking about leaving him, and I wouldn't put it past her getting rid of him because there was somebody that there was a light in the neighbors thing, uh, in the of a car leaving, and I just got a feeling that that's what happened. That she wanted him gone because of her being in that new relationship.
I don't know that case. I've looked at it a few times, and I don't know what to think of that case. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I seen cases with that with Joe Clyde Daniels crawling all over the daddy, and he didn't seem a bit upset or frustrated or angry with him. Kept crawling over him repeatedly. Lisa Irwin's case has been on my mind a long time. Is what Christy said.
Yeah, I've covered the Lisa Irwin case too. Like I said, I've got so many cases that I've covered through the years, and they all get to me. In Lisa Irwin's case, everyone has blamed the mom for the longest time. I'm not so certain that she's guilty of anything. It
Right.
does look bad, but again, law enforcement has never said directly that she is responsible. She's never really been charged in that case. So,
What was that girl's name that her daughter? She ended up having another kid after her daughter died, and they said she claimed she died in a swimming pool, but she was found wrapped in a plastic bag in the woods or something. Uh, can't remember what that girl's lady's name was. She went and got her daddy's shovel from the garage and buried the daughter. Y'all remember that? Yeah, Casey Anthony. There you go, Kaylee Anthony. Yes.
yeah. And you know what? She did. And then she got found innocent, which is BS. I mean, I don't know how the hell that happened. And then, now she's on TikTok trying to be some type of child advocate.
Isn't that crazy? That is not a good one when she wasn't even advocating or helping her own daughter out.
No, she made up some cockamamie story about some Zanny the nanny that never even existed. She takes the cops, says that she works at this office. They take her to she takes them to the office, and she can't tell them which is her office because she doesn't work there. I mean, that oh my god, there's crazy, and then there's a special kind of crazy, and she's a special kind of nut job.
Yeah. To answer your question, Parquet, okay, it said, yes, a child who is beaten in the face and head will likely bleed. The scalp and face have many blood vessels close to the surface, making even minor cuts bleed heavily. While most head injuries in children are minor and heal well, severe repeated head injuries can cause brain damage. Yeah, so if he kept hitting them in the face and all over his head, and stuff. Yeah, he would be bleeding out the ears and everything too. You know what I'm saying? And there was no blood spotches anywhere on the covers or anything.
Yeah, but if he beat him in the chest and stuff, it is possible that it would have been internal bleeding, like a rib puncturing a lung or the heart or something like that. That happens too. It is a
See,
possibility.
he confessed to beating him in the head. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean,
Yeah,
there's head injuries that don't bleed either. I'm just saying. I mean, so there is that.
yeah. But he kept hitting him in the face and the head and everything. And so usually when
Now,
he hit,
facial injuries will tend to bleed out for sure. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So usually, normally with that, he said it's laying flat on his back and he's beating him in the face and the head. Okay, so I really feel like that's untrue. He would have some kind of saliva, some of his. So the blankets were still there, where what he used and slept on and all that. Nothing was cleaned up, and you know what I'm saying. So there's nothing on the walls or nothing, no, so there's no proof behind what they're saying. And then they made a new law so that these parents try to get out of jail, they can't never get out of jail until they tell them what they did with the body. I think they just really, if they really confessed, and they know where the body is, I think they would have went ahead and said where the body is. They ain't never gonna be able to
not
get out of jail.
necessarily, not necessary. Hey, look at Corey Bigsby, Cody Bigsby's father. He is
Uh-huh.
guilty as all fucking sin, and he still will not tell where he put Cody Bigsby at. And I'm glad
Yeah,
they made that law. Unless you're going to tell where you put that body so that that child can have a proper final resting place, you sit your ass in jail. No appeals, no nothing. You just sit your ass right there.
yeah. But see, there's cases like I said that the people can easily get intimidated and they'll go to a false confession just to
Oh
get
yeah,
them to
false
shut up,
confessions happen all the time. I
and that
agree. I
and,
mean,
and that's and that's what I think is happening with that. That's just a feeling I got. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, if you did kill your kid and it's pretty all these evident pinpoints, to this person happening and this being a person, oh yeah, I'm all for it, right? I'm all for not letting them out of jail. But when there's just sometimes people can easily be manipulated, and sometimes the parents even blame themselves when a kid goes missing and say, well, I'm guilty of the person dying because I didn't keep it safe. You know what I'm saying?
well, I mean, I get that, and that's why it's good to have. I mean, that's why you need a good defense
Fish
lawyer.
jail.
There are definitely people sitting in jail on death row right now, even that I don't feel like committed the crime that they've been accused of. So, I mean, there's always going to be that one off. I mean,
Exactly. So they wanted to hurry up and get a, get somebody arrested for that, and even the people that claimed that they had seen him walking around with the child and stuff like that, there had been no evidence. Kind of find out they said it was another child that they had seen, and not really that. So it's like so many different stories, so they cannot pinpoint and no true evidence against him whatsoever. See what Marquis said, same with Adam Montgomery. He would never tell where Harmony is.
that's
That
because
poor
there's not enough of her to tell where she's at, in my opinion. I hate to put it like that, but
boy. All these people that so sadistically that I don't know why how anybody can take the fact that they abused or hurt their kid and not. Now there's some kind of accidents at times, but no, there's a difference between accident and abuse. See what Marquis said?
yep.
She agrees with you. Yes. So we need to start opening up some kind of petitions and everything. I don't think it's right for even the police to go in there and try to expunge these guys' records, especially when they got a rap sheet like I had showed y'all too.
Yeah, look, I mean, they shouldn't be trying to expunge his records. If he wants his record expunged, that needs to be on him. And I'm not for them even allowing him to try to expunge his own record in a case like that. I mean, I had a record that got expunged, but it wasn't related to any type of crime of that nature whatsoever. So,
Right. And this was a recent case. It's that the sun was June this year. So why are they already saying record removable? Right.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, and in my case, it was a mistake that I made when I was 19 years old. And I ended up having to pay over $5,000 just to get the record expunged so that it wouldn't affect me for the rest of my life.
I'm glad you got that done.
And I'll just tell you what it was. It was a hit and run. It was the first wreck I'd ever been in. And I had insurance, full coverage and everything on my car, but I was scared shitless. And so I was a dumbass and I ran from the scene of the accident.
Right. At least you acknowledge your mistake and stuff. And that's always a plus towards that. We had a local guy. I got to hang it up. Hold on. There was a local guy in our area who was a sex offender, right? So I went to church and they were going to have a meeting with some of the group going to different homes, right? So here I was in the car with him and all that. Just him and his wife was talking about how he's a registered sex offender, how that he got wrongly accused as being a sex offender. Uh, and it's kind of weird. He said that his granddaughter had a tick on her private part, and so he had to get it out of her private, not in the hair area, but in her private part. And when the mother uh, got mother of the child got home, the little girl had blood in the panties, and he said it's from the tick. Um, coming out. So I don't believe him worth a bit. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry if my child were to have that happen, which I don't know how that would happen, but if it happened, you take that kid to the ER or to the doctor or whatever and let them deal with it. That's not something that you need to be trying to remove from that particular area.
Plus, you got a woman that's in the house too, the grandmother, right? Who would have been able to try to help or whatever. So why are you doing that? And so yeah, he's a sex offender because of that. Whatever he done to the kid that actually made her bleed vaginally. I'm not saying bleed on the side, but actually coming out there. So that did not make sense to me. And so yeah, I didn't want to be going around him, if you know what I mean. Like, oh Lord, please make sure I ride back safely.
No, I'll be right back. I gotta go check on my mom real quick.
Okay. Yeah, everybody makes mistakes, but we'll support honesty. But we won't support anybody who goes and there has been people that's been falsely accused, don't get me wrong. Sometimes some of these bigger ups that actually does the crime, then they try to nail it, pinpoint it on somebody else. Um, so I'm about getting the right person arrested for doing that. And I don't care whether you're Democratic or Republican. Uh, there was a story, and I shared it on Facebook. I don't care whether she's liberal or whatever. I don't care. My thing is, if anybody gets on to us and tells us to stop talking, to try about what happened in Bibb, Alabama, about these kids being trafficked, want us to be silent. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. I don't care. It's not about political. It's about speaking out for our kids and being a voice for our kids.
Oh, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I just had an incident happen in Oklahoma where one of the heads of the Department of Education got caught on a Zoom call with pornography playing in the background.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you say busted?
Yep.
I like it when something like that happens when I get in trouble. And not meaning to say too much, but well, I guess I better not bring that up, because when somebody was, I think it was Chris Madonna that's going down in Don Wells' basement that time, and he went down there and see what's on the TV screen. It's like, really?
Well, I got nothing good to say about Chris McDonough. You want to talk about someone who elicited false confessions and sent an innocent boy to jail for multiple years? That was Chris McDonough. So,
Who was that based on?
Michael Brown. He elicited a false confession from Michael Brown, sent him to jail for years. It's part of the reason why he's not a detective anymore.
Right.
God
But
damn.
the point is, like, if you're gonna be interviewed, don't take them down there. If you really don't want people to know and see what the bad crap
Well,
is
and
on
I'm not.
TV, careful,
Look, I'm not going to defend the Wells by any means. As far as their parenting skills or anything like that, do I think they're probably the two most atrocious parents, or some of the most atrocious parents I've ever seen? Yes. Does that make them guilty of unaliving Summer Wells? No, it doesn't. Um, here we are. It's been so long. If they had any evidence to put Dawn and Candace away, they would be in jail right now.
Yeah.
Now, I will
I
tell
didn't
you
know
who
that.
I think.
I didn't know that Chris Madonna done that. To the brown guy. I hate it when the
Sorry,
wrong
not
people go
Michael
to
Brown.
jail.
Michael Crow. Michael Crow was
Okay, Crow.
yeah. But yeah, he elicited a false confession, and he spent quite a long time in jail due to that false confession. And you know, I don't know. I don't like how he. I think he's part of the reason that the Summer Wells case turned into the crap show that it's turned into. Quite frankly, and that, and the fact that they went on the Dr. Phil show. If you ever have a missing child, that my best advice to parents is do not go on Dr. Phil.
Oh yeah. And it's kind of crazy. There's a lot of people that, yeah, they said that cornbread mafia thing has been a real thing, but they stay hidden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a marijuana people. You ain't gonna know if they exist a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No Dr. Deal either. I
Now,
did.
I do have a suspect in the Summer Wells case, and that's Jody Sue Brown and her son Damien. But
What she said herself, where she tried to blame her husband, right? And say
Mhm.
that he supplied the kids with the medicine, and yet she was like, "I've been there plenty of times when they've been drugged up and all this," and I'm like, "Do what? And you did nothing about it?" And what you said he did it? Maybe it was you that did it, right?
well, I'm just saying, she came out of the woodwork like a cockroach and inserted herself into this case and would not let go. She's made money off of this case. And her son Damien had just gotten in trouble for looking in little girls' windows like weeks before Summer went missing.
Wow. And what was that they were trying to say? Trying to speculate about somebody being on a horse around in the area or something. Do you know anything
Oh,
about
there's
that
been
one?
all kinds of stuff. There was a bear in the area. Someone was on a horse in the area. There's been all kinds of stuff said. And I haven't seen any proof of any of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's too. Now, there's a lot of guys that live in the area, and everybody says that, well, it's too steep for a lot of people, for most people to go up and down a hill like that. But if you lived in that kind of area the most of your life, you're trained to be able to scale them the hills like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But the thing that got me is whoever abducted Summer would have had to have been familiar with the dogs. Jody Sue being a neighbor, she would have been familiar with those dogs. Damien would have been familiar with those dogs. They wouldn't have
Right.
necessarily barked or attacked those particular people. So that's another part of the reason why they're high on my suspect list. I'm not accusing them at all. I don't have
Right.
anything as far as evidence that says that they did it. I'm just sheerly going off of my gut instinct on that.
Yes. I haven't really trusted her from the beginning. I'm sorry to say that because somebody that was lethargic most time on her own live, and you're like, what is she saying? Do what? Huh? What? This ain't making a bit of sense. Do what? So there's so many people that the possible suspect in, and some of them's dead now and everything. So it's like, I hope and pray that I hope and pray she's still alive. You know, the people that say she's dead, I'm not going to believe she's dead until there's proof that she's dead. You know, I'm still going to hope.
Exactly.
I'm going to still hold
Exactly.
out hope. Hold that hope. You know.
Well, I mean, and the other wild theory that's out there, because you do know that that Candace Wells has a sister named Rosemarie Bly that's also missing, that's been missing for years.
Yes.
So, what if, just for the sake of argument, what if Candace's mother had hidden Rose away from the abusive husband, and then she saw how bad Summer was being treated, and so she decided to hide her away with Rose? And what if they're both hidden away somewhere? That's a theory that I've heard too.
Yes, because we knew that child support CPS was supposed to come to that house that day too. You remember that?
Yep. Yep.
So they would probably gonna just wait to come and take them, and that would have would have made it where they would have had the kids taken away specifically. You know.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's what happened. That's just a theory that I heard, but it does make sense in a way. Yeah,
And
Fred
that
Hill.
man, there's so much with so many suspects, and I don't even trust Sheriff Lawson's son. You know, even with that, you know, with him being a predator, right?
Yeah, I mean, once that came out, of course, Tennessee. I mean, they don't have a good track record on these abduction cases. I mean, you look at Summers' case and you look at Sebastian's, they've gone on for too long without any real answers. And, I'm willing to bet that in both of those cases, law enforcement knows a lot more than what we know. And they may be trying to build a case, but they need to at least come out periodically and do press conferences just to kind of keep these damn tragedy pimps at bay, because that's what they'll go on stream for 5, 6 hours saying the most absurd shit I've ever heard in my life, just so they can line their pocketbooks off the backs of a missing kid.
Right. We want facts. We don't want all the speculations on as far as, and we're going by what we actually heard from. When we see the different interviews with person people that we're speaking about. Okay, that's what I'm basing mine on. Uh, some people I stopped watching because it's like that does not align with the whatever I've heard that's kind of factual right after from the horse's mouth himself, right? So it's like, where do you get this speculation, or where do you get this answer from? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's why I pulled away from both Summers' case and Sebastian's, because there was just way too much speculation and stuff going on. And until we have something new that's factual come out from law enforcement, yeah, I'll share their flyers and stuff, but there's no sense doing a live stream on those cases until we have something new come out.
And plus, the weird thing is, with it happened to be somebody around that knew where all the cameras were, so that they could disarm them, right? Because remember,
Mm,
there was cameras over there at Don's, and somebody Just something about the cameras, right?
Nah, I don't know. I know, like in Sebastian's case, there were cameras in the neighborhood, but it was so dark when that one took place that they tested it, and even it with the cameras active, you wouldn't have been seen unless you had a flashlight
Daisy
or
lay down.
something on the cameras. But
Right.
in Summer's case, I don't know. I mean, like I said, in Summer's case, it would have had to been someone pretty dang familiar with the Wells homestead and with those dogs and everything.
Yes. So y'all are with me, but we are going to be quiet about these cases that we will
Oh,
advocate for our children, for all the different children and the ladies that go through this kind of stuff.
oh, absolutely, 100%. And that's why I'm glad that you do what you do, and I support you 100% in that. There's a couple of groups on TikTok that I've been going into their lives lately that do the same type of thing that you do. That I've been trying to throw some support to. There's a lady named Justice Jess out of Missouri who puts these predators on blast every chance she gets. God bless her. She's doing an amazing job. So I do support her too.
Yeah, I think I've seen Justice. Yes, I think I did once or twice. Somebody has sent me some of her stuff.
Yeah, for it's been at least a good 6 months since there's been anything new come out on Sebastian.
And it's kind of weird how, there's always going to be some kids that looks a lot like the missing kid, that's just
Well,
part of
see, and
life,
yeah, but here's the deal. If you see someone that looks like Sebastian or you see
Thank
someone that
you.
looks like Summer, don't post that shit on social media. You take a picture, you submit it to local law enforcement, you submit it to the TBI, but don't put it on blast on social media, because look at all the times that's been done, and it turns out it's not the missing child, but it is someone's child, and they don't want their kid's face plastered all over social media like that.
And maybe they didn't want their family to know, look, we went here, they just wanted their privacy too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I would hate to look like one of those, um, some people had told me, I knew at the time I was still married to my husband. I was not going to this other county where I moved to after the divorce, okay? And I was told so many times, quit pretending you're such and such when you're really Jennifer. I'm not Jennifer. I'm sorry. I did not, uh, I was never in a drug rehab. Um, I never worked at this yellow, whatever this place was called, where you got alcohol. I never got up there on the bar and started dancing for the people. I never did all that they were saying that I was doing. I was married so many, like 2 hours away, and lived with my husband. Okay, there was no way it was me, And they's like, "You look just like her. You are her." And I said, "I am not her." You know.
Well, they say everyone has a doppelganger. There's a missing person right now. His name is Alex Kruk. He's been missing for, I believe, 5 years. And we had a
Look,
possible
Harley.
sighting of him out of Mexico. We're still
Okay,
trying to
good.
verify if that's him or not. But if it's not him, it is his doppelganger. It looks exactly like him.
And I'm gonna see if somebody else wants to come up here. I'll go ahead and open up. Uh, we need to be sure we advocate for the people no matter what, And it is bad when, like I said, when the victim that we're looking for, there's a doppelganger out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What was that Chris was asking? Let's see. I didn't see his questions a minute ago. Did you see his question?
Far, is there an Australian case like this topic? That's what he asked.
Oh, okay. Alex case is bizarre. Oh, Alex Crook. Hello, Crimezilla. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in at Facebook. Carlene, it's good to see you too. What is that about Alex? Is what happened?
That's
Alex
the
Crook?
case I was talking about, Alex Kruk. He's been
Yeah.
missing for several years now, and he's missing out in Milwaukee, if I remember right. Anyway, there was a recent sighting that may be him in Mexico, and if it's not him, this guy looks, like I said, it's his doppelganger because the dude looks exactly like him. I'm working with his sister right now, and we're trying to figure out if that is him, and if it is, how to get him back here. So,
Hope and pray that if it's him, that he gets rescued. And a lot of times, the kids are gone so long, they get brainwashed. Consider I put a thing up if you want to get up and talk as well. If anybody's got a channel they'd like to share, just go ahead and paste it at the bottom. We'll be glad to promote. And Arctic has been trying to get something passed, and I would like for y'all to go sign it too, which is at change.org. And he can discuss it a little bit better than I can. And the first part. That's wrong.
yeah, if you give me a minute, I'll
That's
drop
hard.
that to that petition too.
Okay.
So that's the link to the petition. Basically, for those that weren't here earlier when I was talking about it, for the past 4 years, I have been working trying to get, at least 500,000 signatures on this petition um, to reform the Amber Alert system. In so many of these cases, Amber Alerts are only issued in about 2 to 3% of the missing children's cases. Statistically speaking, runaways are at a higher risk of being trafficked or selling themselves out there on the streets than victims of an abduction are. And yet they are not issued Amber Alerts in any situation. Then it's also a situation where the criteria for Amber Alerts to be issued is different from one state to the next. Summer Wells, abducted out of Tennessee, qualified for an Amber Alert, whereas Michael Monkey Vaughn, abducted out of Idaho, never got an Amber Alert. Had he been in Tennessee, he probably would have received the Amber Alert. And that's why it's so important to go and sign the petition that I've got. I think every missing child under the age of 18 should get an Amber Alert, regardless of the situation. We've had a couple of cases recently where children were abducted by either a grandmother or the biological father, and they were reported missing. And law enforcement's like, okay, well, we're not going to issue an Amber Alert right now. By the time they get around, if they ever do issue an Amber Alert, that child's across the border over into Mexico. Had that Amber Alert been issued, that child probably would have never made it across the border into Mexico. So
It's true.
I mean, Emily Pike, that's a great example. He was deemed a runaway out of her group home. And then, they never issued an Amber Alert. They didn't take it seriously because it was a runaway case. They found her cut in pieces. So, I mean, I can name example after example that had an Amber Alert been issued, it would have been a completely different outcome.
Yes. Thank you so much for doing that. And hello, Crimezilla. Welcome.
Thank you. Arctic Fox, hello. I agree with you. And I would love to, if you have a link, I would love to post it on Crimezilla's Facebook page, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Are
would
we?
love to help sharing.
Yeah, I think we're friends on Facebook. If you send me a message, I'll be more than happy to send you the link.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay. I would love the link. I want to share it. I have about 800, I think. Chris would know better, but I think I have on my Facebook page a lot more people than I do on my own YouTube, but I would love to share that if you don't mind. I'm like you, I'm an advocate for children. People that know me, I've just meeting. Oh, thanks, Chris. Chris is amazing. I love Chris.
Yeah, we
Um,
all do. He's pretty good.
I I know you don't know me. I'm new. Um, I've been around in the true crime community almost, gosh, 5 years now. Um, and I had a channel. I do want to come back. I want to work on children's cases. Arctic Fox, I would love for you to join me sometime. I think that we can, get some of these cases, especially the children that are missing. And Miss Darlene, it is so nice to meet you. Thank you for inviting me up.
You're quite welcome. I'm an advocate because I was sex trafficked and stuff since I was a little bitty girl, and I
Oh,
was horrifically
goodness.
abused and everything. So I'm an advocate myself, just because, I'm not going to sit back and be sad the rest of my life that this happened. But instead, I can go like, how can I use it? I can use it trying to help other people with their lives, right? And maybe
Yeah,
open up some eyes about this going on, right?
absolutely. And I will tell you, Florida, I'm from Florida. I live in Florida. And I'm not from here, but I've been here since 2007, I think. And they just did a huge bust here. They're really cracking down. They don't Florida's been really good about getting these perps.
Yes,
And I would love to maybe share your story if you want to talk about it.
sure.
I'm coming back. Uh, I'm in a job change right now, but most of my cases, Chris will tell you, most of my cases I've done are on children. So I would love if you're willing to share it, uh,
Yes.
be
I
able to
got a book
share
out
your,
there, so yeah, I do advocate. I do share it. So yes, I would love to.
that would be amazing because this is, especially in Florida, it is real and kids
Yes.
are being taken.
Could
Um,
I could I tell you about the Florida what happened with me in Florida?
yes, that would be amazing. I would love to
Okay.
hear it.
When I was 2 years old, we lived in Orlando, Florida. Hi, Chris Miller. Uh, and my mom, this was before my mom and dad divorced when I was 4, and she would dress me up and take me to the restaurant. And I thought, cool, Remember them old diners and stuff had little radios right there and stuff. I can remember that being there. And I was thinking, good, mom, my daughter, I can spend some good quality time with her because, she never treated me good in my life that I know of, right? So I was thinking maybe this would be a bonding time. It's that little girl me thinking maybe I'll be able to eat something when we showed up at the restaurant or drink something. And then we sat down and she said, no, we are not here for you to eat and drink. And the lady went over and said, well, I'm going to give her some water anyway. She can't have much water. And and girls ladies would come up and say, "Oh, she's cute. You want to buy her? You want to buy her?" And I thought, I didn't think that much about it, right? She didn't sold me to an army buddy, my daddy's, prior to that when I was, 2 years old also, but I don't know what state that was, right? But I was in Orlando, Florida, and I was in that, and she tell the guys, well, take her with you, just bring her back alive. You can do anything you want to her, just bring her back alive. So yeah, I was sold out of restaurants and stuff too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Like I said, anyone that would commit a crime against a child, they just need to have a needle put in their arm, because we shouldn't be having to support their ass the rest of their lives, and they damn sure shouldn't be getting out within 5-6 months either. So
Yeah. Yeah, they don't need to be able to let them out of jail or nothing. And y'all know, it was horrible when I was 4. I don't even know where we lived then either. It's too little to really know my locations. My main point was because I was already neglected and everything. And my son came to see me where I live in Tennessee now. I moved there in 2015. So I guess about 2017, 18, 19, 20, something like that when he came and seen me. And he said something about my sister saying I was slow. I said, would you worry about whether or not somebody's going to be hiding behind the door and knock you upside the head and knock you unconscious? Or, yeah, you're going to be a little slow. I said, oh, yeah, but remember, I had been knocked out so many times, I had to teach myself how to talk and stuff, without them helping me or give me any medical attention, right? And then he said, but your sister said something else, and I don't want to make you mad or anything. Promise you won't get mad. I said, depends on what it is, right? And he said, well, she says that daddy never did anything sexual to you. He just ejaculated on your face when you was an infant. I said, dude, what? I didn't even know he did that to me, right? So, and I said, son, if somebody does that when you're an infant, abuse is going to escalate, you know? I was flabbergasted. So these four parents shouldn't have been parents, right, y'all? The Arctic Police post approval in Crimezilla's Facebook group. Oh, wait a minute. You have post approval in Crimezilla. Please place your Facebook group and chat on as well. Can anybody hear or talk now?
I'm still
So,
up here. I'm trying to get stuff posted as multitasking. So
oh, okay. So yeah, basically, like the last time I talked to my mother, Crimezilla, was I was 39, and she asked me, was I still showing my naked body to men or prostitute myself? And I said, no, mom, I'm an adult. I got a choice now, right? And she said I was born to do that, and she taught me how to sell my body to men since I was born. She said, and I told her I got a choice, and she said I wish I would have killed you when you were a baby like I wanted to, and I went click. So that's enough of that one. Part of that said that's just a little brief of it.
yeah, people like that should never have kids. That's what you call someone that should have automatically been sterilized at birth.
Got that right.
I mean, if you don't want kids, if you're going to treat your kids like shit, you're going to do that type of stuff. There are options out there. Put the kid up for adoption. Take them to one of those baby safe places where you can stick them in a drawer, and they'll be found that way. They're at every firehouse or several firehouses in the country. I mean, drop them off at a
Yes,
hospital. There's options out there, but don't abuse your child. Don't unalive your child just because you're unequipped to deal with it. You should have thought about that before you spread your legs like a stick of butter.
exactly. But she mainly had kids for the purposes of. She was kicked out of Germany and banned from Germany because she was giving birth to kids, and I mean, to the babies, and then selling them to on a guy. He's a dad, and so get money basically. What they call that, kind of like black market type of style of having kids and then selling them. So that's how she did part of at first.
Oh yeah, and that happens way more often than I'd like to talk about too. There's a lot of the baby trafficking and selling and stuff that takes place on the dark web too, and that's
Oh
where
yeah,
a lot of these missing people come. Not to get into the weeds with dark conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of organ selling that takes place on the dark web, and you got to wonder if a lot of these missing people have been unalived just for their organs to be sold on the dark web. So.
yeah, that is scary. And uh, some of the things I didn't want to mention again this time, but y'all wish me luck tomorrow on what I have to do. I have a meeting with missing and exploited children, child sexual abuse material. One of the people uh, that wants to look more into my case, right? And let's see if okay, let's see what it get to the root of this letter. Google Calendar. Okay, I'm looking at the emails here, right? I don't know why all of a sudden I got terms and conditions there, Microsoft Teams. Going to meet now. Guess I want to do it through a Microsoft. They told me it'd be through Zoom, but it's let's see, trying to get with this one lady. She was Iota, and y'all know I went to that school recently on human trafficking, and she was going over about child sex abuse material. Okay, here it is. I want to go to the first initial letter, right? I wrote her, this is a letter, right? Dear Instructor Suarez, I enjoyed the course you taught. I am thankful for learning more. I presented the question. So, with my pornographer having over 300 child pornos, in which I was told I was in a majority of them, he is now deceased, but he was an Alabama state trooper. He claimed that he gave half of the child pornos to his dad's buddy. I heard he went to jail for having pornography, but unsure. Is there any way I can get justice or compensation knowing they're out there somewhere? That was my question to her, right? So she's put my thank you for any help I can receive. Such and such is my author name. Gynecologist found so much internal damage. I still have huge gaps in my memory from the trafficking and throughout my life. Said I've got about the state trooper in my latest book, Born to Live in Hell 2.0. I'll be glad to give you further information. I do remember them being on reel to reels, but in the late 80s or early 90s is when I met the state trooper in the Huntsville Library in Huntsville, Alabama, for the purposes of genealogy research, right? And so went on and on. And so, yes, you got three colleagues that's going to be that I copied the email to three of my colleagues who will reach out to help you with these questions and resources. It's somebody that's with the executive director of our child sex trafficking team, specialist with child sex trafficking team, another one, program specialist, sorry, and they a lawyer on the team that serves as counsel for child sexual abuse material. So, so wish me luck when I go to speak to them, and hopefully they might can find. Hopefully they can't find my videos, but in a way, if they did find my videos and got rid of them, that would be a lot better. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be able to get some answers. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm going to be dealing with tomorrow. So y'all pray for me during that. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, I hate to cut out like this, but I do have an Amber Alert that I've got to get a video out on.
Yes.
But I wish you all the luck in the world tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right, I'll
appreciate
talk to you
y'all.
later.
Lots of love, y'all.
Bye.
Hey, Quanzilla, I hope you do get a channel started back again because I thought I did follow you in the past because I remember your name. Is I tell my 40-year-old, 37-year-old, never go out alone. You may be exactly. You have to be careful who you are with your surroundings, right? I want to thank y'all for coming. I think it's been a great discussion. It's been important. Everybody's voice. Let's continue stepping up and stepping out for our children. They're number one main goal. There's a lot of adults and grown men that are missing, and that could be part of this too with kidnappings and these bad people around. So remember to give people a voice. And don't blame a guy or a boy if he is for that too. A lot of people say, uh, yeah, there's been some friends that are male that was sexually abused and stuff, and the first responses they get like, "You're gay," or "You wanted that to happen," or "You're part of the problem." So no, remember to be kind. Listen, you would not want this happening to you. So don't judge somebody you were not there to know or not know. So you just open up your hearts and your minds and be somebody that's a listener, somebody that's passionate, empathetic, caring, non-judgmental. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. It was a wonderful live. Thank you so much for coming in, Parquet, and thank you for accepting the invitation. I'll be a mod as well. God bless each and every one of y'all. And thank you so much, Conzilla, for coming on. And I would love to learn more about you. Chris has got my Facebook as well. God bless each and every one of you. Everyone be safe. Keep an eye out. You're important too. Your voice, your life, and what all goes on with y'all. You're very important. God bless.